Greetings again, my digital Democrats. Today I'm going to do a little presentation. It's a PowerPoint presentation, but I'll try to keep it quick, under like 7 minutes or something. I don't know. And it's on, I guess, the flavours of digital democracy that the people could employ to, govern their representative and gain back their power within Parliament. So, we've already kind of gone over what digital democracy is, and I guess the most obvious thought process on that one, or the most obvious system for that, is direct democracy. One vote per person on every single issue. And this is the baseline. It allows the people an immediate say in Parliament. It means that we will have one representative that, on every bill that the other parties put forward, takes only the voting of the people in their electorate to decide whether they vote yes or no in Parliament. It makes the other parties have to act for the people, and it also makes Parliament harder to corrupt, sort of at the same time, because it means that every bill the old guard parties put forward nowadays, they have to inform the people as to why this bill is a good idea and where their information comes from and why it's correct, in order to get the people to vote in a way that makes their representative in Parliament vote in favour of the traditional party's idea. So it means, they have to deal with the people, and it means that if they have nefarious outside influences dictating their legislation and their bills and their voting patterns, the people will be able to see that and presumably not vote alongside them. Some of the negatives, I guess, of this is that straight up direct democracy does promote, I guess, status quo, or what in political science terms is called tyranny of the masses. It's sort of the thought that, especially on minority issues, where perhaps some positive change would cause disruption to the masses on the whole, the masses are more inclined to vote to the least disruptive option, as they perhaps don't feel the positive benefits as much, it being a minority issue. So it means that, the masses or the majority are always sort of going to vote in a way that keeps their lives cushy. This direct democracy system also, when you think about people using it, it rewards just the time that they're going to use the app and how many bills they're going to vote on. It gives them more political power, not necessarily the people who are voting for the right reasons or with the correct information. Frankly, if you're working too much and you're too outstanding a member of society, you perhaps don't have as much time as someone that's sitting on the couch all the time. And therefore you're not going to have as much political power as them, which I think is not right. Direct democracy, making people vote yes or no, is also supremely open to media manipulation. People are just going to vote with how the media tells them that everybody else is thinking, or the most easily consumable thought process as to vote whether yes or no is better. So it's a very simplified version. One system that does pop up to perhaps improve on a few of these flaws is liquid democracy. It's the ability to delegate your vote to a trusted source. So you can delegate your vote to a scientist or a cultural leader that has, I guess, the same ideologies and ideas as you, and you can know that they will think on your behalf and vote, hopefully, in line with how you feel. The best part of this straight up liquid democracy, would be that you can just take that power back if they do act in a way that you don't see fit and give it to someone else. That's a really traditional liquid democracy. If you think about it in more advanced terms, perhaps delegating your vote on specific, cabinets or portfolios to specific delegates. People would be allowed to pick their own environmental minister and their own minister for trade and things like that, rather than the government picking that for them. So the positives of this, it does reduce the need for people to be informed on everything. They really just have to find someone who is informed on the issue, and one time make sure that they align, or one research session, and you find the person that aligns with you, and then you can refine it over time without having to read up on every single issue all the time. It also rewards skills and knowledge of people who have put time in to know about things. The people can now empower them politically in a way that perhaps they traditionally wouldn't have been able to in traditional parliament. You can give it to, outside ideals and outside thought processes that would never have reached normal parliament, and they can come from someone sitting on their couch and putting an idea as much as they can come from an established scientist or something like that. It also utilizes the current systems we have, like, the current political parties. You can delegate to, say, the Greens MP on environmental issues, but if it's a country infrastructure issue, you might even delegate to a One Nation representative on just that, and then take your power back on issues that you disagree with the Greens or the One Nation on. It allows people to be a lot more fluid and not stuck to one ideology and having to deal with all the negatives that comes with that ideology. So some of the negatives of liquid democracy, it does sort of promote apathy in that if you don't care and you delegate to someone, it's now their problem if they make the wrong decision, and if you don't care, you're less likely to double check whether they're still sort of doing good stuff. And you're politically empowering them to do whatever they want if you don't care. It does also sort of beget the cult of personality, in that you might delegate to someone, and because you love them so much or you believe in them so much because of their personality, you're willing to overlook negatives that you perhaps wouldn't overlook if you were taking the time to really look at the minutiae of a bill or an issue or however it works. I also can see liquid democracy being too slow due to this, in that it'd be very easy for people to just delegate this new political power that they can do whatever they want with to a current system representative, and then just feel better and not have to do anything. So we'll move on to another form of voting. This is a bit more intricate. I don't want to call it an upgrade to liquid democracy, but it does take a lot of the benefits of liquid democracy and direct democracy, and it also does something new and different with them. And this new thing, it attempts to promote, I guess, the transition towards new ideas without radically flip-flopping, could be the best way to put it, in that if you put your political backing behind an issue or a bill or a platform entirely, it gains conviction the longer you leave it there. And if you move it away, that conviction that was accrued stays with the initial bill, sort of to keep it empowered in that it did have the right idea to some for a long time. It keeps it visible. It means people will pick it apart and perhaps refine it and see why people moved away from it. So the positives of this, it's a system to wean off of power structures without radically jumping around. It means that if an idea had merit and people move away from it, its political power, its backing within how we vote in Parliament stays there as these new ideas form or get moved to. And it gives it time to, like I said, refine. So it also allows outside views to be roundly formed. So as we're weaning off these power structures and we move to a new view, as the conviction that we move from within the status quo builds on these new ideas, people are going to again move their conviction as newer ideas form, or perhaps refinements on this idea form, and we'll be able to see the flow on and why people change and at what point, and perhaps how much change of a platform people will take before they just jump back to the original idea and start putting their conviction back in the original bucket. It's also a great measure of just how many people want change or are disillusioned with politics in general, or disillusioned with an ideal in general, in that you'll just be able to see how much is leaking out of your bucket without necessarily having to see where it's going. And you can know that if you change your platform, maybe you'll see that leak stop or slow or get worse, and be able to measure why people are disillusioned with things before they just sweep the rug out from under your feet. Some of the negatives of this, it does require a lot of personal research on the behalf of the user. You have to find somewhere for your conviction to go, otherwise, if you don't, you're empowering something you might not believe in anymore. Like if you decide you don't believe in this thing and you want to move your conviction away, you have to do a lot of research to know where to go. Otherwise, all that time, you're empowering this thing you no longer believe in. I also can see it dissolving structured counterculture movements, in that generally, if things are A and B, if a lot of people disagree with A and B, they can just form a C, where they don't have to agree on everything, but it's about not being A and B. With this conviction method and sort of everyone being able to dissolve their conviction around, it's hard for, I guess, that one resolute C platform to gain all the conviction and rise, without a whole bunch of research on behalf of everyone, making the whole system pretty convoluted. So we'll jump onto one more, and this is the system I espouse myself, and within Flux Gang, it's called issue-based direct democracy. It gives you one vote on every issue, but you have many options with what to do with that. Basically, you can vote yes or no, or you can delegate, like in Liquid, but similar to conviction voting, but this is your conviction for other. Basically, if you abstain from voting, you store up some political energy, and you can put that political energy behind a bill that you really care about to weigh in more, or you can put that political energy towards crafting a new ideal. So in this way, it's based on psychology and economics, in that there's risk and reward. If things are really important to the public, it costs more to be able to weigh in on them. If not many people are interested in that, and you can weigh in more for less cost of that political energy. And also, if you don't care, you store up energy to put somewhere. So in this way, it rewards both passion and apathy, in that if you don't care, you should be able to store energy to find something that you do care about, political weight behind that. And once you do find something that truly speaks to you, you can put all of your political weight behind it if you wish, or all of your passion. So in that, it promotes adaptability and refinement, due to your ability to find alternate options at all times, and to revoke from traditional politics in order to refine something, and also to be able to move that voting, if it's not quite right, into something new 10 seconds later, the next day, and begin building a new movement, or a new bill, a new idea, at any time. Some of the negatives is that it can empower underinformed or emotive views. If you just think everything's stupid and you don't vote on everything, and then you just think one idea is hell sick, and you don't think about any of this really, you are going to be just as empowered as the person who's like, no, I must excuse myself from political life to form a greater system. You're both going to be just as empowered as each other, and that's not necessarily great. Obviously, it all comes out in the wash in public opinion, hopefully, but this is a cons section, so we'll keep with that. It also rewards time, not necessarily knowledge. Care kind of touched on this, but yeah, whilst your political energy decays over time, there is a bell curve, and there is a sweet point where if you just don't do anything, you'll get the most political power, and you can use that stupidly if you're an idiot. And finally, it is open to media manipulation, like I guess all of these digital democracies, but a lot in that people can gain a lot of political power between being delegated and storing up their own and delivering their own systems. And with a good media system behind them, they may not have the best interests of people at heart, I guess. Which is negative. Cool. So, I don't know, think about these things. Google them. Google these terms. Give me some comments. Give me something to feed off. And I'll be back soon. I'm out. Peace out, dudes.